my friends, if you can connect with all the passions that people have, understand where they're coming from, understand that they're whole people, and they desire stimulation at work, yes, challenge and responsibility, but they really want to know how, at the end of the day, they make a difference. Do you understand they have families and relationships? Then they will follow you to the ends of the earth. That's the NGO lesson. That's the reason you give time for nothing. That's the frustration, isn't it? Most of the people here are giving time for nothing. They're not even managed. They're not in a change management program. They're not even paid. They just do it. And what I'm talking about is capturing just 2% of that passion and bringing that into your situation, which in public services should be so easy compared to business. And when we can do that, then the lesson of history is that people will follow you to the ends of the world. And what is more, they may well be willing to work for you for next to nothing. Thank you very much. Now, I think we need to go straight on probably to the cards. Is that right?
I'm happy with that, yeah. Unless there's anybody with a burning question. I have one.
Okay.
Do you remember Yeats, The Best and the Worst? The worst were full of passionate intensity. How do you distinguish wise passion from mere enthusiasm?
I wouldn't bother. I think the English have got a real hang-up about it. I think the Welsh are better. I think that the English have always had this, very restrained. And then we go berserk on the football pitch because it has to come out somewhere. I think as Welsh, the Welsh culture has always been much more holistic, I think, in understanding this business of passion, purpose, and it's totally compatible with intellectual, rational logic, and all the rest of it. So for me, I mean, people say, yes, how do you, I don't like people who rant, or I get very upset by people who are too enthusiastic and too much passion puts me off. I say, well, go and get a life. Go and work for someone else. Because, listen, my friends, listen, don't ever give a speech or give a talk unless you feel passionate about it. Life's too short, isn't it? If you don't feel passionate about it, it's not important. If it's not important to you, why the hell should it matter to anybody else? And it's the same with jobs. If you don't feel passionate about what you do, go and leave. Do everyone a favor. Go and find something else to do, where you are passionate, where you get out of bed in the morning and say, I know why I'm alive. I know what I do. This is a very important issue. This team has to change, or the impact of getting this right will save a lot of lives, or it will change people's environment. So that's my answer. I'd say, don't be afraid of passion. We've locked away passion for too long, and look where we've got to. You get low morale. Morale is lack of passion. Low morale everywhere you look is lack of passion. But where you have passion, then things happen. And it's impossible to make things happen without passion.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, let's do the cards.
Okay, right, now, this is something I'm passionate about. By the way, okay, now, some of you may say, well, I still don't like it. Patrick was much too passionate for me. I understand a little bit of passion, but just too much. That's fine. Perhaps I'm reacting against this sort of acute allergic reaction to any kind of passion at work. Management by objectives. May good Lord deliver us. Objectives can't create passion unless the objectives mean something in terms of purpose. But when they do, you don't need management by objectives. You need them to check that it's actually happening, but it should be happening anyway. You find people will exceed their targets every single time, and the metrics will show it. You must have the metrics just to check, but there we are. Now, here's a metric. Here's a card. You've got one on your table. What we'd like you to do is to make some promises to you about the week. Things you're thinking about, and maybe things that have been provoked as I've tried to gather together some of the thoughts of the week. So what we want you to write down is your name and address. That's the first thing. And the postage is free. And what we're going to do is we're going to mail these back to you in about 8 to 12 weeks' time to see how you're getting on. So the idea is, you're going to write down, I want you to write down 5 things that you have decided you're going to do in the next 4 to 8 weeks when you go back. And I don't mind, it could be something in your very personal life. It could be something in your family. It might be something in your career path. It might be something you're going to say to a member of your team. It might be a group that you're going to gather together. It might be a different way in which you're going to lead. It might be a different activity that you're going to create. It might be a new target that you're going to set. It might be an experience from this conference that you're determined to share, or an insight which you're going to put into practice through some training. Whatever it is, we want you to write it down. And actually, the more you put down, the better it will be, because it's amazing how time flies. And my friends, you know, life's too short to attend conferences if nothing happens, isn't it? I mean, what's the point? So I'd say that this week was a complete and utter waste of time, unless in 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 14 weeks' time, you can point to things which have changed as a direct result. Don't you agree? Hello? I mean, otherwise, what was it? We were just farting about. And actually, you know what? It disimproved your quality of life because you went back to a whole pile of extra work on Monday morning as a result. So let's really make it count. And let's focus on what it is that we can really change, and decisions that we can make to make a difference, make things happen, and connect with passion.